Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Priscilla with Scylla Travel, helping you live the dream through travel. I help active adults, women entrepreneurs, professionals, and business owners. I help them live their dream through travel. Today, we have Miss Kathy Brock of Ama Waterways. She is my business development manager, and she is here to talk to you all about cruising 101, river cruising in particular, slow travel, slow or small ship cruising. Hello, Trina. How are you? And Elmira, how are you? I think I saw Carolyn. Carolyn, are you here? Carolyn, yes, I see Carolyn. So, let's see. Let's get started. Okay, so tonight is my very first cruise night. My first cruise night. Let's see, admit her. Hello, Sabrina. How are you? Good to see you. Ah, more people. Dorothea. Hello, Dorothea. Good to see you. I'm here with Kathy Brock of Ama Waterways. She's my business development manager for my area. And we are going to talk about river cruising 101 with Ama Waterways in particular. So, does anybody have any questions before we get started? Does anybody have any idea? Has anybody ever been on a river cruise before? Or do you know anybody who's ever been on a river cruise? Okay, Trina, can you unmute yourself, Trina?
Yes, I can. There you go. Yeah. No, I took and I couldn't remember the name of it, but from Pittsburgh to St. Louis, I think we did the Ohio River and then down the Mississippi.
Okay, so that was like Windstar or American Steamboat or something like that, one of those lines?
Oh, something like that, yeah.
Okay,
and we did it for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. And
nice.
We did a recommitment ceremony, and the captain remarried them. I mean, it was really fun, but they didn't want to go on a big ship, and we wanted to do something as a family. So we had 22 family members, and we cruised. It was a fabulous, we stopped at these little towns, and we stopped in Marietta, Ohio, and Cincinnati, and then we stopped outside of Louisville. I can't remember, but it was not just these little towns along the way. It was very nice.
I can imagine, because you're from Ohio, right, Trina?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I want to know about like Europe, because I want to do one.
Yeah, so that's what we're here to talk about today, Europe, being open and cruising in Europe. And Ama Waterways has made it so easy for us to go and so enticing that I'm actually going. Now, at the end of this presentation, I will tell you where and when I'm going, but I'm going to turn it over to Miss Kathy Brock so she can start our presentation for River Cruising 101. Take it away, Kathy.
It is always a challenge. Let me see if I can get the right thing and turn off the phone and everything else. So, okay. All right. Been doing this for 18 months. You think it would be really easy, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we got 2 steps here. The first step drives me absolutely insane because it's this long pause. Okay, do you see?
Yes, I can see.
All right, and then we're going to go full screen.
Beautiful.
Now, are we good?
Yes, we are good. Everybody good?
Good.
Yeah, so I see down here Miss Sabrina Taylor, one of our guests, so she's been on a river cruise before. So yeah, we have 2 people who've been on one.
All right. Well, first thing we've got to do is qualify the difference between that big word cruise and a river cruise, because I know when you say the word cruise, your head goes to these big ships with 2,000 to 6,000 people on them and paying for all your excursions and buying a beverage package and paying for a specialty restaurant, all that's included on a river cruise. Here you see one of our lovely ships on the Danube. Now this ship, and all of our ships with one exception, carry 156 guests. Now that's not very many people. In fact, right now we're smaller than that. We're only doing 60% occupancy. But I really want you to understand here, this is one of our river cruise ships on the Danube. This is a lovely city called Passau in Germany. And this is how close you are. There is no sense of motion on a river cruise ship. You do not have any inside cabins. You do not have, you're out of the sight of land. There's also no sense of motion on a river cruise ship, which is very special to me. So this is how close you are. And it's just absolutely, if you want to travel to Europe, okay, this is the way to do it. Basically, you're checking into a little luxury hotel. And every night that luxury hotel is going to move to a different city or town. You're going to wake up, walk off the ship, do walking tours, do bicycle tours, do hiking tours, do culinary tours, because they are all included. Now, how did you describe to someone, excuse me, what is a river cruise? I got it. First of all, you got to look at the rivers, okay? Now, you've heard of a Rhine River. You probably heard of a Danube River, but do you know where the heck one is and where the other one is? So let's start here in the Swiss Alps. That is the Rhine River, and it comes out of the Swiss Alps and empties into the North Sea. So this is the Rhine, the Main, and the Moselle rivers, okay? The Danube's down here, and these two rivers were never connected until 1992, even though the first person to think of it was a guy by the name of Charlemagne. But it took till 1992 for this engineering marvel to happen. So this Main-Danube Canal connects the Rhine River with the Danube River. So with the advent of that canal, the rivers are connected from the North Sea through 15 different countries, all the way down to the Black Sea. So the main thing I need for you to understand is that the rivers were the original highways. If you think back to the time of the Middle Ages, and if it rained for 4 or 5, 6 days, was that wagon or that carriage going to go from point A to point B? Not likely, but you could always move on the rivers. So the river banks is where these fabulous small towns and big towns grew up. So that's when we pull into a city or town, we're literally able to walk off the ship and do those walking tours, hiking tours, biking tours, and culinary tours. So there's also some wonderful rivers in France for future reference. There's the Seine or the Seine. They're both correct pronunciations. And they actually go from Paris out to the Normandy beaches. I mean, is that an earth-shattering experience to visit Normandy? Then the vertical line over here is actually a combination of the Saône River, which is the area that's famous for Burgundy wines, and the Rhône River, which is famous for Beaujolais and Châteauneuf-du-Pape. This is also where Vincent van Gogh did so much of his painting. The lavender fields, the sunflower fields, very, very beautiful area. Then coming out of the Atlantic Ocean on actually what is an estuary is the Bordeaux area. Now, Bordeaux is wine, and more wine, but it's a beautiful area to visit as well, so you don't have to be a wino. Then there's one more river, and it's going from Portugal into the edge of Spain. So for the most part, you're talking about 7-night cruises here. We also will bookend a cruise with a couple of land options. So for instance, if you're going to do this Danube River, I'm going to make Celia swear on a stack of Bibles that she will not let you sail the Danube River with going to the fabulous city of Prague in the Czech Republic. So we'll take care of it for you. So how do you summarize? How do you nail down? You know, they used to call it an elevator speech. You were supposed to be able to tell people what you did between floors. Well, here it is. Oceans take you to countries. Only rivers take you through countries. So this is one of our ships in a magical little town of Dürnstein, Austria. This is one of our ships docked in the town of Dürnstein. So as you can see, we're literally going to be able to walk off this ship and walk through this lovely town. We also have a hike that goes up to this castle ruin, because there's a really cool story with this castle ruin. It's actually the site where Richard the Lionheart was held for ransom as he tried to return from the Crusades. But there's a lovely little path up the side here if you'd like to join us for a hike, or you can bike from this town to the next town. And when we do either a hiking tour or a bicycle tour, we send out 2 guides. So there's a guide at the front, but there's also a guide at the back. And you could say, hey, I've changed my mind. I want to go back to the ship. And that guide will take you back to the ship. So these are the wonderful towns that you're going to pass along the way. I have to tell you that you've probably never heard of Alma Waterways. We do not market to the public. Our product is only provided through travel advisors like Priscilla. So you're not going to see us on a rack in Costco. It's not going to happen. So we've never done this. We're 18 years old now. We've never direct marketed to the public. So we don't have those commercials on television. But we do sponsor Samantha Brown series, Places to Love. So that's the only place you'd see us. We're family owned. There are only 3 families that own Alma Waterways. They are the original owners. They are still the owners. Gentleman on the far left's name is Rudy Schreiner. Rudy was actually the first president of Viking River Cruises. And prior to that, in '92, remember when they connected the rivers, he was vice president of another river cruise line. He's an architect trained in Vienna, Austria. He designs our ships, designs our itineraries. He's actually known in the industry as the godfather of river cruising. In the middle is the lovely, fabulous Christine Karst. She's the heart and soul of Alma Waterways. It's every bit of her ideas that have grown this company into what it is. She's from Dresden, Germany. So we got Austria, we got Dresden, Germany. Well, where was that third first owner from? Actually, it was Gary's dad, Jimmy Murphy. And Jimmy came over on a ship by himself from Dublin, Ireland, with $50 in his pocket, and he lived the American dream. So these are immigrant mentality, folks. The way this makes a difference is that the idea, as this company grew slowly, 18 years old, we have 23 ships. That other company out there with their quote long ships have 75 ships. And they also put 40 more people on the same size ship as we do. So as they've built these ships, we built them ourselves, we operate themselves ourselves, they have paid for them. So I love this quote from Rudy. There is no debt on any of our ships. So Rudy says he can sleep at night. Now, coming out of this crazy 2 years we've had, that means a lot. So we actually were the only US flagged ship, not even river cruise, US flagged ship to operate in Europe in 2020. We operated for 4 months, only with European guests. So what did we do? I mean, this is no matter of, we have to develop protocols because we did it last year. We sailed with over 1,500 guests with no incidents whatsoever. The requirement right now is when you're moving around the ship, you wear a facial covering. When you're seated in the lounge, in a public area, in a dining facility, or up on the top deck, there's no facial covering required. We have plenty of room ashore. We usually do 15 to 20 people. Now we're doing more like 10 to 15 people, and we're only putting 60% on the ship. So you've got social distancing space on the ship as well. We're doing 2 temperature checks a day, and we're sanitizing the luggage when it comes on board. But this is my favorite point here. Every one of the ships that Rudy designs and builds never recirculate air. So whether you're in a dining room, in a public area, a lounge, there's no recirculated air. So that's a pretty big deal. I can't quite imagine how the big ships could manage this. But anyway, we do have a personality. When you sail with Ama, you become part of the Ama family. Ama is actually the Latin derivation of the word love. Amo, amas, amat. That's where we get our name. And your Ama family once you sail with us. We also came out with this incredible offer back in March of last year, where we decided the frontline heroes, the medical people, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, lab technicians, and EMTs would be eligible for a free cruise as long as they have a paying companion with them. We are doing that right now. So if you know anyone that is in this field, has gone through this, please let us share this. Reach out to Priscilla and she will take care of everything to get those folks on. There's that little town of Dernstein again. Love, love, love that town. Red tile roofs, a Brewbrook Tower, and you're going to see these little villages as you sail along. Right in the center of the village, there's going to be a steeple, because that's where the church is. And it may cross your mind as you sail these rivers to think that these villages look like fairy tale villages. Well, the fairy tales were written by the Brothers Grimm, and they lived on the banks of the Danube. So all they did was illustrate their stories. Red Riding Hood, Snow White, all of those stories were illustrated by them with where they lived on the riverbanks. We've got different cabin categories. The only category I don't have a picture of is this, the first one, which is a fixed window, okay? A fixed window is just that. A fixed window is a window that doesn't open, all right? The next category up is, I want you to look just on the right side here. This is called a French balcony. It was actually invented by Rudy, and it was the signature cabin design for many years. So this is a French balcony. Think of it as sliding glass doors, open out completely onto the river. You've got the fresh air, you've got the scenery, but it's not actually a step out balcony. But when Rudy got the word from the engineers that run the lock system that he could build a longer ship, actually it was another 80 feet that they added to the ship length. He only added 6 cabins because this new design is called a twin balcony. It has both. It has a French balcony and it has a huge step out balcony with 2 chairs and a table. And you can't do it in less than 210 to 235 square feet. That's why we're only 156 guests, while others on the same size ship are 192. There's no such thing as a bad river cruise, but there are different levels of service and quality. There's no such thing as a bad river cruise, but trust me, you might want to think about this one. We now have 8 ships that have connecting cabins, which are wonderful for multi-generation or senior parents. We also have triple cabins on these ships, and we have suites that would accommodate a family of 4. Over here behind that white wood screen is the full bedroom, and then here's a queen size. We do occasionally have families and kids on board. Typically, it might be a few in the summer, might be a few at Christmas time. I've never seen more than one family at a time. They tend to be very well-traveled and well-behaved kids. And my theory is one of the reasons they're so well-behaved is they're being watched by every grandparent on that ship. And they're also going to come home with a lot of new grandparents to keep in touch with. It's very, very special. Now, award-winning dining. Actually, this right down here is the oldest gastronomic society in the world. It's called Staterooms, and it means all of our food has to be locally sourced. So none of this food is frozen. This fish is coming from a local fishmonger. Locally sourced, never frozen. We can accommodate any dietary need with the exception of kosher. We've got vegan, we've got vegetarian, we've got gluten-free, all of those covered. So you're going to have a wonderful breakfast and lunch, then 5-course dinners with wines to match if you're interested. It's pretty much like part of dining in Europe. So then Rudy is an innovator. I told you, he's an architect. He came up with this brilliant idea to build a ship that was bigger than all the others. Now, how do you think he could do that? Well, number one, a regular cruise ship, river cruise ship that's going from the bottom of that Main-Danube Canal, which is north of Vienna, all the way up to the North Sea. Those ships can only be 38 feet wide. And when you're in that lock, you will have 11 inches of clearance on the side of the ship. Well, Rudy realized from the Main-Danube Canal all the way down to the Black Sea, those locks are designed to take 2 ships side by side. So Rudy designed what I happen to call, I grew up in South Carolina, folks, so I call it a double wide. And that's exactly what the Alma Magna is. So instead of being 38 feet wide, the Alma Magna is 72 feet wide. Yeah, I can talk about the difference in 38 and 72 till I'm blue in the face, but how about a picture? That on the right is the Alma Magna. On the left is a Viking longship. The critical point here is that both of these ships carry the same number of passengers. Consider the space difference here versus here. The Alma Magna also has 4 restaurants. Now, all of our ships have 2 restaurants. They all have the main dining room and the chef's table. But this has 4 restaurants. So this is a beautiful al fresco dining. These windows and that ceiling opens. We have Jimmy's, which is sort of like an Irish pub named for Jimmy Murphy. And then on all of our ships, we have something called the chef's table. Now, if you were on a big ship, this would cost you $38 or $40 plus wine to go to a chef's table. These seat 24 to 26 people. Everyone has an opportunity to dine there at least once during the course of the 7-night cruise. What's special about the chef's table? Number one, there's a demonstration kitchen where the chef is doing all the cooking as you watch, and he is preparing a 7-course paired wine dinner, and there is no charge for dining at the chef's table. I even heard about one river cruise line 2 weeks ago that has a specialty restaurant. It only seats 8 people and it's $45 a person. So that doesn't happen on Alma. All of our ships have the chef's table restaurant. There's also something very special about our dining rooms, because if you could drill down to a deck plan on other river cruise lines, you would see that every table in their dining room is meant to seat 6 people. So it's not just dinner with 6, it's breakfast with 6 every day. I'm not good for that. So we have tables for 2. We also have tables for 4. We have 5 top tables because we love our solo travelers. We don't want them to feel uncomfortable, and 6 and 8. You're also going to notice all of these pictures. The design and the decor on AMA is what we call country club casual. That's the way we dress, as well as the decor on the ship. So guys, if you'd like to take a sport coat, no tie on AMA Waterways. I'm expecting to see a smile there. Jerry, what about you?
No tie. Good. No tie required.
So country club casual. Look at the space on this ship. It's absolutely ridiculous. Rudy could have added a lot more cabins, but he did not. Now, the main lounge on any of our ships is the heart of the ship, okay? You're going to meet with the cruise manager in the main lounge, and that cruise manager is going to describe all those excursions you have to decide on. We're offering 4 to 6 excursions in every port. Plus, the walking tours are divided by pace. You've got a regular pace, you've got an active pace, and you've got gentle walkers. So every day you can change your mind with that as well. So we're going to meet with the cruise manager here. We're going to come into the main lounge the hour before dinner with what we call a sip and sail. It's happy hour. It's bar as well as the beer, wine, and soft drinks that we have with lunch and dinner. And oh, by the way, we have champagne in case you'd like a mimosa to start your day. Then we're going to come back here after dinner for the local entertainers to come on board. So you have anything from classical musicians to a French cabaret singer, or maybe outside of Budapest, it's those crazy gypsy dancers and the accordions and all that stuff. And then we have an onboard entertainment as well. So very, very unique in the industry. Every one of our ships has a fitness center, a beauty salon, and a massage center. This is on the Magna, so it's a whole lot bigger than the others, but this is what Rudy did with his space. Also, you know, we got the 25 bicycles on board. They're $650 touring bikes, but the spinning bikes on the back of the ship look really cool. No, I've never done it. I'm fine with the regular bikes, thank you very much, but spinning with a view, because we have a wellness host on board every ship. The wellness host will start the day with a morning stretching class, if you'd like to join it. Might be a yoga instructor and have yoga classes on board, might teach line dancing up on the sun deck. That's always available on our ships, the wellness host. We have either a pool or jacuzzi, or in this case, a combination, on every ship, heated for all year round. And the Magna actually has 5 wine bars. Here's one of them. The other thing very, very unique that Rudy has done, Rudy realized that on every other river cruise ship, when you come out of the main deck, if you want to go up to the sun deck, you would have to take stairs to get up there. So Rudy invented an elevator that goes to the top deck. This elevator rises up, you step out of it, and then the elevator lowers back down, because you cannot have anything on the roof of a river cruise ship that doesn't lower in the case of low bridges. So this is Rudy's innovation. He's a wonder, I tell you. Okay, now, what do the staterooms look like on the Magna? 80% of the staterooms on this ship are 355 square feet. The bathrooms have floating vanities, walk-in showers, separate water closet. The seating area is right here, actually has an Apple computer there if you'd like to use it. And then we have a huge television over the bed and a balcony. This is what the Magna is all about. We are also wired for at least 4G free Wi-Fi. In fact, in when was the last year we sailed? 2019? We actually spent more on our Wi-Fi that we did on fuel. So if, like, Priscilla needs to stay connected, because if one of you guys needs her, she's got to be there. So AMA does our best to provide that. We do have the 25 bicycles on board. except on the Magna, then we got 50. They're $650 touring bikes. We have the helmets. And like I say, we send out the 2 guides, one at the front, one at the back. Then what are we doing locally? We don't have a beverage package. You go on a big ship, you can't even take your own water on board that ship. You have to buy their beverage package. So we have no beverage package because we're serving the local premium wines where you're sailing. So we actually have a different red wine and white wine every single day. So one day you might have a Riesling, another day you might have my favorite, which is a Gruner Veltliner. Yeah, it took me a while to learn that one, but absolutely fantastic wines. And it just goes with the dining. If you don't drink, you will not feel out of place. That is not an issue. We also have hosted wine cruises where we have a wine host on board who's doing lectures and tastings. Last time I had that, it was a tasting at 10:30. Hey, I can do it. Then we also have the wine host goes with us to the vineyards and the wine cellars, and we even have a paired wine dinner. So there's a different wine at every course of dinner, and there's no extra charge for it being a wine cruise. A wine cruise has all the regular excursions, plus that wine host and everything they offer. Now, you know, I've been doing this 16 years. A lot of times I get that question. What's your favorite river cruise? That's like asking which is my favorite daughter. Don't tell anybody, but I think I could answer that. So my favorite cruise, which I have done 7 different times, and I'm banking on number 8 this year, is the magical Christmas markets.
Somehow I knew you were going to say that, the Christmas markets.
I love the cruise. First time I went, it was over New Year's Eve, and there were some market stalls still up, and I went, okay, this is it. This is a tradition that goes back 700 to 900 years. In every one of these countries, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, the Czech Republic, Hungary, they all have Christmas markets. This is a local thing. This is when the locals come out. You're going to stand in front of these market stalls with the locals and their families. You're going to smell sausages roasting and nuts roasting and the gingerbread they call Lebkuchen. And you also do not have to travel over Christmas. The markets open based on Advent, typically the 24th or 25th of November. So Thanksgiving on, you're good. And they don't decorate a tree here and there. They decorate their entire darn cities. There's a street, this is Vienna. There's another street in Vienna that as far down as you could see, it's these huge, giant chandeliers. The next street over is waterfall lights. The next street over is these red, huge ornament balls. It is just an absolute magical time. You will never look at Christmas the same way again. And I'm telling Priscilla, she needs to plan a girlfriend's trip to go to the Christmas markets. You also do all your Christmas shopping in 1 week. You do have to have a spare suitcase to bring it home in, but it's awesome. My favorite city in the entire world is the city of Prague. The city of Prague is magical any time of year. This is one side of the Old Town Square. Obviously, there are 4 sides, and they all look this fabulous. But at Christmas time, it just lights up this huge tree timed with music and lights, and these market stalls down here. You gotta eat the street food. You gotta try the chimney cakes in the Czech Republic. You gotta try a potato pancake in Hungary called lengos. Absolutely fantastic. It's street food. You walk around with it. So picture yourself in a Christmas market. I got another picture here. Oh, don't forget, when you do the Danube with us, that's where you would add Prague, okay? Prague would be added either on the front end or the back end. You spend 3 nights in Prague, and then you transfer to the ship. We also have an offer on the Danube if you'd like to join us for a day trip to Salzburg, Austria. We got a half-day tour, but I don't want you to take the half day. I want you to take the full day. Because first of all, you're going to drive over the Austrian hills. Then you're going to spend a day in the city of the Sound of Music with a beautiful Christmas market and a gorgeous cathedral. All this is right outside the doors to the cathedral. So we decorate like crazy. You can see our ship coming down the river a half a mile away because there's so much lighting. We also honor local traditions. So not everybody celebrates Christmas on the 25th of December. Other countries do different things. My favorite day on the Christmas market cruise is when we honor the feast of St. Nicholas. On St. Nicholas Day, the children are put shoe outside the front door of their house, and St. Nicholas brings them a gift. So we ask our guests to put a shoe in the hallway and see what St. Nicholas brings that next morning. This is the signature drink at this time of year. It's called Glühwein, which I know is a really weird name, but it's yummy stuff.
It looks delicious.
It is a hot mulled wine made with fruit and spices. And on top of that, every single market has their own recipe for the Glühwein and has their own signature mug. So picture yourself walking around with that mug in one hand, that sausage in the other, and it is absolutely fabulous. Bring 2 to 3 of these home, and for the rest of your life, every time you pull out one of those Christmas market mugs, the memories will just flood back. So you wait just a second. I got to get one.
So we had quite a few people join. Welcome. For those of you who just joined, while Kathy is taking a break, we went over the European sailings and ships by AMA Waterways. And now we're looking at the Zambezi Queen. We're going to Africa. So does anybody have any questions? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
First, I got to show you a Christmas market mug.
Oh, yeah. Show us the mug. Is that looks like a stocking?
It's a boot. It's a boot.
I have a question.
Yes.
The screen is lagging.
Pardon?
The screen is lagging.
Yeah.
I'm seeing everything. Do you think maybe it's your internet connection? Does anyone else have a delay or a lag? Can everyone see the screen?
Okay. I hate this technical stuff.
I know.
Do. Okay, I've got to introduce 3 exotic options that we provide. We are the only river cruise ship to operate in Africa. We have what I call a wee ship. She's called the Zambezi Queen. She only has 14 staterooms. So her total capacity is 28 people. She's doing a 4-night cruise on the Chobe River, which runs between Zimbabwe and Botswana. You're going to have the option of game viewing by land and by boat. Then we're going to take you for 2 nights at Victoria Falls. Fabulous. And then you'd add that to either, so there are other options in South Africa or East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, the Ngorongoro Crater, the Masai Mara. Fabulous. The other exotic we have is Cambodia and Vietnam. I realize that's an old brochure, but I love this picture, so I'm sticking with it. I really had some reservations when we started offering this. And I realized when I read something, it said people look at Vietnam one of 2 ways. Vietnam the country or Vietnam the war. My head was on the war side. I did this 7 years ago this month. Cambodia and Vietnam. It was the most astounding, powerful, and life-changing trip I have ever done. And I've done Africa twice. So this is a life-changing experience because you're experiencing that totally different culture the Buddhist culture is gracious and welcoming and forgiving and so cheerful. It's amazing. So if you have Thailand on your list, think about sailing with us in Cambodia and Vietnam. We have one more exotic that will start on September 6th of this year. We were in Egypt until that Arab Spring thing. And Rudy was also not happy with the ship that we were using there. So when he found out he could design his own ship, and this destination was bar none Christine's favorite. So we are returning to the Nile on a brand new ship of Rudy's design. Now, when you do the Nile River cruise, you don't simply pop in and do a 7-night cruise. You bookend the cruise with Cairo. In our case, we're bookending it with 3 nights on the front end.
We've reached the end of the presentation, River Cruising 101 with Scylla Travel, featuring AMA Waterways brand river cruises. I certainly hope you enjoyed today's presentation. Closing out, we'll be thinking of Egypt. And remember to live the dream.